When George and Zoe agreed to look after Rex, their friend Corey's dog, they never anticipated the turn of events. Rex, usually well-behaved, sparked concern in George when he started exhibiting strange behavior around Zoe. George, feeling suspicious, gathered evidence and called the police to confront Zoe. What was the cause of Rex's unusual conduct, and why was Zoe behaving oddly? Before we begin, please remember to click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And also, hit the notification bell to stay updated on new stories. George's closest friend, Corey, faced a dilemma when he had to embark on a lengthy work trip abroad, leaving his cherished Doberman Rex behind. Typically, Corey would entrust Rex to a reliable dog sitter. However, upon receiving the unexpected news that the sitter couldn't fulfill the arrangement, Corey rushed to George's residence. He earnestly explained his predicament there, imploring George to consider looking after Rex for a week or two. Initially hesitant about Zoe's reaction, George deliberated the request. Fortunately, as the discussion unfolded, Zoe returned home, allowing George and Corey to present their case directly to her. Despite initial reservations, Zoe gradually warmed to the idea after thorough discussion and reassurance, ultimately consenting to care for Rex. Initially, the days passed smoothly, and the trio settled into a comfortable routine. Everyone seemed content with the arrangement, and Rex relished his time at George's residence. However, the couple observed peculiar behavior as Rex continued to stay with them. He started barking during the night and scratching at the bedroom door, causing concern for George and Zoe. Despite attempts to take Rex outside, he adamantly refused to leave the house, perplexing the couple further. Troubled by these abrupt changes, George contacted Corey for insight into Rex's behavior. Corey explained that Rex was adjusting to a new environment, surrounded by unfamiliar faces and surroundings, which provided clarity for George and Zoe. Trusting Corey's judgment, they gave Rex more time to acclimate. Eventually, after several more days, Rex's demeanor gradually returned to normal, alleviating the couple's worries. As the days passed, the couple gradually eased back into their established routine with the affectionate Doberman. Rex's fondness for Zoe became evident as he consistently sought her company, often curling up next to her on the couch and resting his head on her stomach. George, recalling conversations with Corey, was aware of Rex's past as a police dog, adopted by Corey upon retirement from airport security duty. Yet, George pondered whether Rex's role had been solely as a general security dog or if he had specialized in tasks like drug detection. George observed Zoe's behavior and noted her avoidance of eye contact and increased withdrawal. His concerns deepened when he stumbled upon a cryptic message on her phone one morning, sparking further suspicion. Several days after the unsettling discovery of the enigmatic text message and Zoe's noticeable change in demeanor, she casually mentioned to George that she needed to run an errand in town. Seizing the opportunity, George waited until Zoe left the house before deciding to follow her discreetly. With Rex anxiously occupying the back seat, George embarked on the covert mission, his mind fraught with curiosity and apprehension. As they trailed Zoe's car to a gas station on the outskirts of town, George remained parked, observing her actions from a distance. Despite the discomfort of spying on his partner, George couldn't shake off the nagging concern fueled by Zoe's recent behavior. What motive could she possibly have for such clandestine activities? Was she engaging in infidelity or perhaps involved in smuggling illicit goods? The conflict between his desire to trust Zoe and the mounting evidence of her secretive behavior left George grappling with a sense of betrayal and uncertainty. Upon returning home to find Zoe absent again and Rex having wreaked havoc on a couch cushion, George's frustration simmered. Determined to channel Rex's energy, George took him for an extended run to ease their tensions. Upon returning home hours later, Zoe greeted George with a curious gaze, prompting him to evade divulging the truth about his day's activities. With a vague mention of going for a run, George skirted the details, harboring a resentment towards Zoe for her frequent absences. As tension lingered in the air, Rex's relentlessness escalated, manifesting in nervous pacing and sudden burst of aggressive barking directed at the front door. The abrupt interruption served as a stark reminder to George and Zoe that something was amiss. They looked at each other and felt worried because Rex was acting strangely. George's heart raced as he glimpsed at the doorbell camera feed, revealing an unfamiliar figure clad in black lurking outside their front door. Sensing the situation's urgency, He knew prompt action was imperative to prevent further escalation. Despite initial reservations from his partner, George swiftly dialed the emergency number, opting for the safest course of action, involving law enforcement. Though she initially questioned the necessity of involving the police, she soon recognized the gravity of the situation. She appreciated George's commitment to their safety. Minutes felt like an eternity as they anxiously awaited the sound of approaching sirens, their nerves on edge. As the distant wails of sirens drew nearer, there was still no trace of the mysterious intruder. Yet George remained poised, armed with the crucial evidence captured by the doorbell camera to aid the authorities in their investigation. In a swift response to George's distress call, 2 officers promptly arrived at his residence, alerted to the potential threat of an intruder or harasser targeting the property's occupants. Zoe's heart raced upstairs in the bedroom as she heard George urgently calling out to her. Fears of encountering the unknown intruder coursed through her mind. However, after George's persistent calls, informing her that the police had arrived and wished to speak with her, Zoe gathered her resolve and descended the stairs. Feeling a knot of apprehension tightening in her stomach, Zoe approached George, her voice tinged with unease as she inquired about the unfolding situation. With a heavy heart, George awkwardly attempted to articulate the reason behind involving the police, attributing it to Zoe's increasingly perplexing conduct. He hesitantly disclosed his discovery that Rex, formerly a drug detection dog at the airport, exhibited behavior suggesting the presence of narcotics in Zoe's vicinity. George confessed to feeling compelled to uncover the truth, leading him to confront Zoe about her potential involvement. As George laid bare his suspicions, Zoe's emotions surged in disbelief, hurt, and anger. The mere insinuation that she could be associated with drugs pierced her deeply. She found it hard to understand why George thought she was someone she wasn't just because of how the dog acted. She felt even worse knowing he had been looking at her phone and following her secretly, making her feel he didn't trust her. "I'll be honest with you, George, because this is just unbelievable." Zoe's voice trembled with hurt as she struggled to comprehend George's unfounded accusations and the breach of her privacy. Despite the pain, she mustered the courage to reveal the truth. Zoe recounted stumbling upon an article detailing a dog's ability to sense pregnancy in its owner. Intrigued by this possibility, she ventured to the gas station to obtain a pregnancy test, hoping to quell her growing suspicions. To her astonishment, the test confirmed her intuition. She was pregnant. Overwhelmed with remorse for his baseless accusations, George couldn't shake off the weight of guilt that settled heavily upon him. Despite the well wishes from the police, their disapproving glances conveyed a silent reproach for George's rash actions. Seeking solace in Rex's reassuring presence, Zoe leaned into his comforting embrace, her fingers gently stroking his ears. Amidst the turmoil, she harbored a flicker of hope that she and George could mend the fractures in their relationship and emerge from this ordeal more robust than before, clinging to the belief that everything would eventually fall back into place. If you've experienced a similar journey like George and Zoe, share your story in the comments below. We're eager to hear from you. And until next time, I'm Mickey V. Take care, and we'll catch you in the following videos.